Hi, folks. Welcome. My name is Champ Ensminger. I'm a local Seattle filmmaker, dialing in from Seattle here on behalf of the Seattle Asian American Film Festival. Thank you for joining us on this exclusive SAAFF interview with a special guest today, Kevin Tancharoen, one of the directors of the upcoming Netflix series Thai Cave Rescue. The limited series is based on a true story about the real-life rescue of 12 boys and their 25-year-old coach who were trapped in a cave in northern Thailand. And this drama series will unfold through the perspectives of the boys at the center of the rescue. Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out today.
Of course, and thank you for pronouncing my last name the way correctly. That's never happened.
Really? Oh, man.
Never. And so bravo to you. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I guess I should kind of give you some context on myself. I am also a Thai American filmmaker. Yes. And I was born in Chiang Mai, not far from where the rescue happened.
That's right.
And yeah, and I've also just kind of been kind of cutting my teeth in work, mostly as an editor up here in Seattle. And it's been really great kind of getting acquainted with your work, and especially this topic, being so connected with our kind of Thai diaspora community. And then as far as you being at the helm of a project like this is it's just really special.
And it is. I mean, to be completely honest, I don't meet a lot of Thai people in our business, right? Every now and then I'll get surprised if there's somebody on the crew who's Thai. There's just not, I haven't, for some reason, like my father obviously was in the business, my sister is in the business, but that was something that was very unique about being in Thailand, was that I was just surrounded by people who were Thai and in the crew, in front and behind the camera. So it was a real experience for me because it was never happened before. So I really loved it.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, so I was just thinking we can chop it up about your experience with Thai Cave Rescue, especially your perspective as a Thai American creative, kind of from your perspective. I guess just to start, as an intro for our audience, do the true story of the cave rescue in case people need a refresher or are unfamiliar. What were your first impressions of the news of the rescue when it happened?
Wow. I mean, so when it happened in 2018, I remember I was playing with my niece, who's now 7 years old. So she was really young. And I believe somebody had just texted me like, hey, have you heard about these Thai kids who were caught in a cave and can't get out? And I didn't. So I turned on the news with my sister and we watched it immediately. We just kept following it, One, because it was in Thailand, and in the US, you don't really hear a lot of news about Thailand. And the fact that this had like the world stage where everyone was watching and hoping for the best and rooting for the kids, it just seemed like it's interesting that it took a tragedy to get the recognition, right? But it was really great to just experience that on a human level, that everyone around the world was tuning in and hoping for the best. It really kind of set in stone that if we all do work together for a common cause, that we really can accomplish miracles, because this whole thing is nothing short of a miracle. The fact that they all got out was beyond surprising, because the things that were up against them were just treacherous. But it was just that perfect marriage of the right team. They had the right coach. The kids were all very well managed within the core of their team. They all loved each other like brothers. So it was something that was very endearing to watch. It was also something very tense to watch. And we were just all glued to it every day, like the whole world was. But specifically, I remember feeling the Thai connection to it all. And it was an experience for me and my family for sure.
Awesome. And so this true story of the rescue, how did thinking about that, reflecting on that, how did that influence adapting it for this series for you?
Well, spending a lot of time doing work for U.S. audiences, I often tell a lot of stories about superheroes, right? Fictitious superheroes, where they're either wearing a costume or they're saving a fictitious city, about a weird bomb that's going to go off in the middle of Central City, any one of those, whether it's Marvel or DC. The thing that was so unique about my perspective on this one was that I was really tapped into the perspective of the community, the Thai community, that were nothing short of superheroes, right? Like you didn't, in superhero shows, you kind of have to do camera tricks to make them feel larger than life. Like there's those sweeping push-ins, there's that 360 shot, you put in all this glitz and glamour behind them. But here it was just the raw nature of who they were, and they were just heroes. So you didn't have to really do any of those tricks because they simply were just that, they were superheroes. And something that the whole team really wanted to make sure to accomplish was that we told it from the perspective of not only the Thai kids, but the Thai parents, the Thai governor, and the Thai community. It's something that I feel like often gets a little bit overshadowed by the mechanics of the rescue, whether it be the documentary or the feature film, and those are all fantastic. But they really explain the logistics as opposed to explaining the experience from a human level, from the heart's perspective, and just how hard it was to all put panic aside just to try and accomplish this crazy task together. John Chu was very early on very adamant about making sure it came through that lens and didn't want to tell a savior story. It was about the people on the ground and the families on the ground and how they were able to accomplish just everything together.
Yeah, that's incredible. And it, of course, you mentioned the other adaptations of this story, but of course, Tiger Cave Rescue stands to be kind of a standout as far as, really showing the Thai perspective, the team, the Wild Boars, their coach, the governor of Chiang Rai, and local Thai community. What sort of nuances do you hope audiences will take away from this perspective of the story that they wouldn't otherwise, especially thinking of it as in the length that it is, as a 6-part series compared to just like a feature film?
Yeah, I think the nuances are all within the tapestry of the culture, right? And I don't, regretfully, I don't speak Thai because I was born and raised in Los Angeles, so I'm a very bad Thai kid. But when I went over there, I already naturally have like a hearing loss. Like I have to wear hearing aids, right? Because in my earlier career, I was around a bunch of loud speakers. And when you're a kid, you just don't really care about it. But the nuances, no matter what culture you come from, no matter what part of the world you come from, there is a relatable aspect to this story about parents just wanting to see their kids survive and kids just wanting to survive. So the family dynamic is something that I really hope comes across in here, because even though I didn't speak the language, the thing that I was really focused on were the nuances within the facial tics, the eye movements. What's being said without words is also incredibly important, because I do a lot of my processing of information by just watching a person's face. Sometimes if I can't understand what they're saying or I can't hear them, I'm feeling the energy coming off of them. And that's something that I really hope is shown in this series, because we had a bunch of people speaking multiple different languages between English and Dutch and Thai, and like everyone was there, right? German. But the thing that was relatable was the human primal instinct to protect and to rescue. And just what's spoken in between the Thai governor to the American team, between the Thai mother who never spoke one word of English, being able to exude her love and panic and her desire and her passion to those rescuers is something that I really hope comes across. Like, I really hope that you could, I don't suggest it, but you could play it on mute and really fully understand what the emotional journey is.
Interesting. Yeah, so you mentioned some of the challenges working on this, and just like the rescue itself, this production must have had a lot of challenges on varying scales, all happening, overlapping at once, in the way of like shooting environments, remote locations, extreme weather. You mentioned navigating a multilingual cast and crew, and just balancing compelling drama while retaining the integrity of a true story, like really trying to kind of have that balancing act. Were there any specific challenges on the production of Thai Cave Rescue that really stand out to you?
Well, you definitely spoke about a lot of the big ones, right? The language barrier and the multi-international, not only cast, but crew. Like, everyone came from a lot of different places, some Australia, some from London. some from LA, and everyone was just working together to essentially make this thing come to life. And in many ways, obviously the stakes were very different. In many ways, it was about team members learning to work with each other in order to accomplish a goal, right? And we all had to work together. There was no hierarchy. If anybody had to move any piece of equipment, they would do it, because the conditions were very rough. As you know, it's always raining. It's very humid. It's very hot, and we're lugging around equipment, and everyone's trying their best to move fast. And the Thai crew is just so gracious, and they're so polite, and they just want to work hard. So I think the challenges were enduring all of that together at a high speed, because our schedule was pretty tight. We didn't have many days to shoot it, and shooting in just the elements is difficult. I remember saying that I really wanted to be a part of something where you had to go and brave the elements of nature and be in the practical locations, because I had just come off of doing a show that was all virtual. I'd just done the Book of Boba Fett, and it was virtual screens, and it was absolutely incredible, right? It's very amazing. The technology is incredible, but there's something about being in a real space and being in a real environment with real things to have to step over and mud to actually have to trek through that ignites a very different kind of emotional response in a human. It's something that's subconscious. So yeah, that was difficult, because we shot in the real cave. Like, we shot in the real first chamber of the cave, and even chamber 2. And I have never been in a cave before. So, putting on all that stuff and going through it, it was a very surreal experience, because we were in the place where this event happened. So it was very, very, yeah, it was just a crazy experience, like one that I can't really fully explain, but it was definitely felt. So everyone just working together, I think, was tough. The language barrier was incredibly tough, just because, when you're giving direction to actors, and you'll understand this, like, a lot of direction comes from analogies you're making within a culture that so say if I wanted to go and give an example of, hey, we need to approach this scene a little bit like this, or how I went through something like this, nuances and cadence and references in different cultures are pretty different, right? There's certain analogies that don't translate to Thai. There are certain metaphors that just don't translate. I had a person there named Kukai, who was invaluable to me. She was a translator, but also an acting coach. So she spoke English, she spoke Thai, and she was literally like my best friend the whole time. I mean, because her and I were able to talk about what the emotional structure of the scene is, and what the intent should be, and how the kids should have this flow to their performance. And she would be able to interpret that into something that the Thai kids would understand, right? So she was an invaluable asset for me. And I'm very thankful that I was able to have her. But that was really the toughest thing.
That's awesome. I had no idea you actually filmed on the location, the first couple chambers. I mean, it's one of many historical instances of art imitating life, working on a film set, that you're just trying to make things happen with this team. Like you said, it's incredible.
Yeah, it was also a little odd to be recreating disastrous moments in the real place, right? It's just like, oh, feels weird, but it's working.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess my limited experience with I've filmed a short in Chiang Mai, and my limited experience, but from what I've heard as well, is that Thai crews are notoriously really awesome, really scrappy. Just everyone is a Swiss Army knife. Yeah, right. Just thinking about the crew people, what was it like working with a lot of Thai crew folks?
It was great. I mean, they fully embraced me. I went there a little embarrassed that I didn't know how to speak the language, and that I had never been there since I was 2 years old. So I was nervous that I was like, oh, they're just going to see me as this bad Thai boy who's just gotten so Americanized. But they really fully did the exact opposite. They fully embraced me and helped everything that I absolutely requested. And things that I never had to request, because they just did it. Everyone was just thinking ahead. They did things that they didn't have to do. Like you said, everyone was a Swiss Army knife, and everyone would do multi-departmental things. They never just did what their one job is. And, I've been on sets where you hear the line, well, that's not my job, right? You say something like, oh, that's not my job. That's not my department. That didn't really exist in Thailand because everyone was just working together and protecting each other. And that was something that was really, really, really great to experience, because the Thai crews, the land of smiles, they're all so incredibly polite. And they work so hard, and they will never tell you when they're exhausted. They just won't. We had people sleeping on the sets to wake up the next morning to just continue shooting. And it was a really unique experience for me to experience that as a Thai American. And it's something that I'll always carry with me, being there with my roots and experiencing the community in a very real way, where we were thrown into really difficult situations. So I always say, like, that was the best version of me coming and experiencing my culture. Was just, I was thrust really just fully in it, and got to scout and film in locations that as a tourist you would just never go. Right. So that was something that I'll take away forever, and was probably one of the highlights, was just going there and experiencing my Thai background in a very real way. That wasn't just touristy.
Right. Amazing. And now it's at the finish line. But I know that you probably, there's not much time to have a victory lap, because you are working on, it's just on to the next thing, right?
Yeah, it was, thankfully, right? I'm very lucky and fortunate to have jumped on something else that I'm very passionate about. But I was very sad that I missed a screening in front of a real audience the other night. I wish I could have been there. I won't be able to go to the Thai premiere, which is another bummer, but I recorded a video message so that they know that I missed them and I'm thinking about them, and hopefully they like it. That's the thing. It's like, I feel like at this point, they're like my Thai relatives and family. I don't want to disappoint them. So hopefully they're very happy with what came out, but I believe they will be, because we were able to accomplish so much with so little, which was a testament to the production and to the producers and the writers. Dana and Michael really were their boots on the ground every day to problem solve, because that's all it was all day, problem solving. Oh, this is not happening. Oh, well, how do we figure that out? Or, oh my God, this piece of equipment didn't make it. Okay, well, how do we figure this out? Oh, we can't make it in time to film this bit. Okay, well, how can we still tell the same story? It was it was a very easy environment to crumble in, but no one did. And that was very impressive. And I think it's because anytime you felt like you would crumble, you're just reminded of the story that we're telling, and you go, nope, we got to push ourselves even more.
Yeah. And all the more that it's just such a compelling, true story that it's hard to, it's so compelling on its own that you had just like a North Star just to really follow the whole time.
And I think it's very rare to have this situation where the story was just bigger than everybody on set. It was all bigger. So egos immediately fly out the door. Complaining falls out the door, just goes away, because the story is just above and beyond anything we do, like just in the film business, right? Because it was a true story. It was a real environment. We're telling stories about real people who did real heroic things. So anytime we felt tired, we go, well, now imagine what the real people felt. And we're like, yep, we need to get off our asses and push even harder.
Awesome. Well, I myself am very excited to see all of that get translated onto the screen, and to see it and have a conversation with Thai folks, friends and family, about just that, that depiction and how incredible it was. Well, I know, like I said, you've got some other things that you're working on, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I was just going to leave you with a couple of questions of, are you is there anything that you can mention about what you're working on next? And from this experience, would you shoot something in Thailand again?
I would absolutely shoot in Thailand again. It's actually always been a dream of me, my sister, and her husband Jed, like, to film a genre piece in Thailand. Like, it's not used enough. It's just never used enough. And Thailand is so packed with texture and history and culture and just backdrops that you don't really see over here in like on more Western cinema. And I think it unfortunately has been depicted in a very cliche way, right? It's always that same story, right? It's the Hangover 3 story, right? And I'm just kind of sick and tired of seeing that. So I would love to go back and shoot there because the crews are incredible and they will work so hard to just get the job done. And I think we got to tell more stories over there from a different POV. It's what makes it interesting. And as far as what I'm working on now, I mean, I can say that it's another Netflix show. Brad Balchuk is the showrunner producer. It's called The Brother's Son, and it's starring Michelle Yeoh and a bunch of newcomers that I think will really stand out once everyone gets to meet them. But it's a fun story. It's an action comedy, and at its core, it's about an Asian family thrust in the middle of a larger than life situation. And it's been fun to play in that genre where it's serious when it needs to be, it's hilarious when it needs to be, and it's right in the middle when it matters, you know, all the nuances. But at the end of the day, it's about family and how we stick together.
Amazing. All exciting things down the pipe. And of course, as a Thai American, I have a personal investment in a lot of these really awesome things that you're working on. This series coming out, your next series in the works. Thank you so much, Kevin, for taking the time.
It's great to meet you. And like, definitely we should, you know, keep in contact because there's not a lot of us in the business. And we got to keep each other close.
No, yeah, I agree 100%. All right. And for those of you who tuned in, thank you for taking the time to listen to us converse about all things Thai Cave Rescue and just kind of being Thai Americans in the industry. And make sure to catch Thai Cave Rescue, available on Netflix beginning September 22nd. For more content and stories like our conversation today by and about Asian Americans, you can follow Seattle Asian American Film Festival on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at their handle at Seattle AAFF. Their next film festival will be next year from February 23rd to March 5th, 2023, both in person and online. For more info on that, you can visit seattleaaff.org. Thanks again, Kevin. And to you and those who've tuned in, have a great day.
You guys. Thank you again. Have a good one.